We talked about it yesterday, Joy, Shady, Zach Wilson. He goes to the post-game press conference and he says, no, I didn't let the defense down. Robert Saleh, he doesn't commit. Joy, I'm going to surprise you with this take. I hate how Robert Saleh has handled things, and I hate it for this reason. Zach Wilson more than likely is your guy. And since Zach Wilson is your guy, you might as well commit to him as being your guy because you don't have another option. You got about 7 more weeks of football. Are you going to go to 1-7 Joe Flacco? Are you going to go to Mike White? No, you're not. You're going to go to the number 2 overall pick that you, Robert Saleh, drafted at number 2 over the likes of Justin Fields, amongst others. You made that decision. You made your bed, so you have to sleep in it. There is no point now of acting as though you're not going to commit to Zach Wilson, because who does that serve? And that's the question that everybody at the desk, along with you at home, got to be asking yourself. If I, Robert Saleh, do not commit to Zach Wilson, I'm not going to restore any confidence in Zach Wilson by doing that. I'm not going to put my locker room at ease by doing that. I'm not going to silence the questions at the presser from journalists by doing that. So what do I gain from being non-committal to the quarterback that I got to rock with for 7 more weeks? I gain absolutely nothing. As a head coach, you can't speak with your emotions. And this, to me, appeared to be emotional talk, because now, while the Jets are 6-4 and in contention for the playoffs for the first time in God knows how long, their quarterback ain't got confidence from his coach, and he ain't got confidence in himself. Joy Taylor, we talked about this pre-show. I can't wait for you to bring the thoughts to the national audience. How do you feel about Robert Saleh handling this, and do you take issue with it?
I'm a little conflicted because, I don't like to be a hypocrite, and I hated the way that the Miami Dolphins organization handled Tua's tenure over the last 2 years. Ryan Fitzpatrick, then going to Tua, then benching Tua for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then he spends the whole year talking about Deshaun Watson before the trade deadline. Then you have the whole issue with Tom Brady. I feel like they never committed to him, and I feel like it caused some damage to his confidence, and it really it didn't build up the organization in a positive way. Now, obviously, they got the right guy in there in Mike McDaniel, and of course corrected since then. And look, they're having a great season. That said, Tua's way more talented and was way more talented in college and was a winner in college. They're not comparable as far as the pure talent goes. And leadership as well.
Yeah.
Through all of that, Tua was a great face for the organization, came out there and answered questions every single week, was never salty, was never petty. You didn't hear stuff like this from him. So I don't know that I don't care about fair, but I'm conflicted about it because of that, because I do think you do need to commit to young quarterbacks if you take them. That said, Robert Saleh's job is not set in stone. Like, he's got to coach for his job, for the men that work for him on that coaching staff that have committed to working there, and for his defense, which, by the way, is the #1 ranked defense in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus. Whatever measuring system you like, they're a good defense. So there's men in that locker room who are giving their all and they're playing good football and are being rewarded with that. So how do you, as a leader of the organization and Robert Saleh, walk into the locker room and face everybody saying, we're going to go out there with this individual who's not taking accountability for his own shortcomings when they're playing as well as they are on the other side of the ball? I don't know what I would do if I was him. So I don't know how mad I can be about it.
I'm looking at these stats real quick. They had 2 total yards in the second half. 2. Are you serious, though? I knew he was playing bad, but God, I feel coach. What's he supposed to do? My number 2 pick, right? He's supposed to be a franchise guy, so I kind of don't want to bench him, but it's like I'm a defensive guy, and my guys on defense, I'm preaching to them, get the ball, get stops. They're getting stops. They're doing everything they can do. They held the Patriots to 3 points the whole game. And my quarterback, who's not taking responsibility. Now, listen, I'm tough on Justin Fields, but Zach Wilson, like, he's worse than that. He can't throw or run. Justin can run. He can't throw or run. So I feel his pain, his frustration, because I don't know what to do. I can't commit to this quarterback. He's letting my team down. They got a chance to go to the playoffs. They're playing well right now.
Yeah.
So that's a tough place to be at. If it's me, I'm going to Mike White. Oof. I see what Mike White did to the Bengals.
Sure.
Right? He won some games, made some yards. I don't know.
Joy, let me bring this conversation to the real world. You are a person that plays a long game, you said, right? Played a long game. Shady, we talk about this all the time. Joy plays a long game. Here's how I feel about this. If you are on vacation for 7 more weeks with your significant other, and you know you got questions about the relationship, it does not behoove you to tell your significant other, who, by the way, you're on vacation with for 7 more weeks that you got questions about the relationship. It doesn't behoove you to do that. Why? Because then they too, if they don't already, might have questions about the relationship. And worst case, y'all be stuck together and y'all still got to spend 7 more weeks together. This is what Robert Saleh did. He got 7 more weeks to spend with Zach Wilson at minimum. 7 more weeks. You're sitting at 6-4. You got to play 7 more games.
Okay.
How does it behoove you or Zach Wilson to say, hey, I'm not committing? You're stuck with him for 7 more weeks. Flacco is 1-7. So are you really going to go to Joe Flacco, who's 1-7 with y'all? Are you going to go to Mike White? You can't.
I know, but like
you can't.
They can do better. Anything is better than 77 yards. Anything's better than 2 yards in the second half of total offense. I've never heard of that. Check that. That has to be a record. 2 yards in the second half.
Apparently, they average 2.6 inches per play.
Come on, man. So my
I
thing
saw
is,
that. I don't know if it's true.
It's a game of inches.
I see where you're going with it, right? I see where you're going with it, but it's like anybody can do better than that. And my thing is, if I'm the head coach of this team, what message am I sending to my teammates or to my players, to my coaches? This guy can do nothing, right? He can't throw. We're averaging 2 yards in the second half, total offense. What am I supposed to do? I can't commit to that. If I'm a player, right, and I'm real vocal as a player, and you gonna commit to this, you ain't trying to win.
But then, Joy, you got to move off of him.
The parallel is you're on vacation for 7 weeks with your girlfriend and 2 side pieces.
Fair.
And you done been girlfriend-ish with one of them before.
One of them. That's true.
And they were actually pretty good.
Right.
And then one of them was like a wife for somebody else.
For somebody else.
And one,
good wife.
A good wife.
Won a Super Bowl
right? Like
with
not
the
so much
Ravens
of a good wife anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's not you're not really alone on an island for 7 weeks.
Right.
1. And 2, the whole world is watching you on this island and how you behave.
Whole world.
And if you don't do well on this island, you're not going to get to come back to the island again next year.
Right.
So there's a lot at play here with this situation. But I just go back to, while you can play the long game with it, I see what you're saying. You also have to have uncomfortable conversations sometimes.
That's your thing, right?
Right. No, but you do. I don't avoid uncomfortable conversations. I'm very interested in getting whatever we have going on solved. I don't believe in letting stuff fester and grow and become resentment. And if it means that we got to spend the rest of the time on this island not talking to each other, well, at least we're still on the island.
Yeah.
So that is where I think Robert Saleh is. It's because of the way that if everyone's playing bad and this is all falling apart, you don't have a chance to make the playoffs, okay, maybe you just need to sit down with him and help him develop a little bit more. But this is not the situation. They can make the playoffs, and they have a great defense, which is what Robert Saleh does.
Right.
So he's holding up his end of the bargain here.
But don't you think, Joy, then you got to move on? Like, if you are going to question moving on, don't you think you have to move on?
Well, yeah, he kind of already took the first shot. So I don't know that you have to. But what makes me hesitant about this situation and jumping on Robert Saleh is, I have to imagine that he has emotional discipline as a head coach. So he's just not just upset and saying things. Like, he knows the implication of saying
I respect that, yeah.
that maybe this isn't our guy. He knows what that starts, particularly in a city like New York.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine in some way, just me, covering this sport for as long as I have and the way that things go in the locker room, that there's a lot of stuff going on that people aren't very happy with him. Because if you have a lot of respect for your guy, if you're coming out and taking responsibility for your bad play, and you're like a leader in the locker room that everybody wants to continue to ride out with, I can't see Robert Saleh saying something.
Let me ask you a quick question, then you a quick question. Who do you think starts on Sunday or their next game?
I mean, I think they probably give him another game.
Agreed. Who do you think?
I think so.
Great. I agree as well. If Zach Wilson is going to start the next game, then it is in your best interest to make Zach Wilson the best starter possible. That's where I'm at. Like, if you're not going to move off of him, then it's in your best interest to water the grass that you have as opposed to looking at the other grass. That's where I'm at, Shady, is like, make him as good as possible. And this quote by Saleh does not help Zach Wilson.
What do you mean make him as good as possible? What does that mean?
Meaning,
Build him up.
Build him up. Put
Like,
more belief in him.
Yo, hold on. He been playing, I don't say, he been playing trash the
you said
whole year, right? Playing bad the whole year. And I'm still got you playing quarterback? What do you mean? That's building you up? I should have been sat you weeks ago. Just that the defense been playing so well that we had to
see. But don't you think that that's more of an emotional response?
This is what I'll say about the coach. My quarterback's not playing well, but he's the second pick overall. So you kind of got to play him. And it's not just the coach. You got the coach, you got the president, you got the GM, you got the owner. And in football, everybody wants to look like they're smart, especially in the front office.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? They all want to like, oh, we know what we're talking about. So it's hard to just say we're not going to use him for the future. It's hard to say that.
But you hired him, Joy Taylor. You drafted Zach Wilson.
This is a real, this is a
now.
disease of society that we have right now upon us, which is that people refuse to admit that they're wrong.
Okay.
They refuse to just accept even the tiny bit of shame that they made a mistake and now course corrected.
Yep.
And a lot of that is because if you change your opinion about everything, you have a bunch of people telling you that you're fraudulent or you're not consistent or that you're terrible at your job because you can't admit that you're wrong. It is a sign of intelligence to course correct when you have new information. I don't care what the internet tells you. You're allowed to change your opinion. That's called being an adult. Only kids insist on the same thing when when they have no proof of it. This is what it is. So don't double down on wrong. And why do we reward that? That makes no sense.
Don't you think we're being overreactive, though, 2-5? He's 5-2 this year. 5-2 this year. When the last time the Jets was 5-2 through 7 games? 5-2 this year. Like, I get that this past Sunday against the Patriots was bad.
And you give him the credit for the 5-2.
All I'm saying is I'm not going to give him the blame.
I would agree with that. That's why I'm saying he should start the next game. I don't know that you immediately need to pull the plug on the situation because I do think once you sit him, it's a wrap for him. And maybe that's too soon. But also, if you're seeing things that show you that he's not going to improve or that he doesn't feel like he needs to improve, like saying it's not his fault and he didn't let the defense down, things like that, then you as an organization have to assess whether you made the right choice or not. And maybe you didn't, but don't blow this year. Don't blow all the hard work of your defense. Don't blow all the development that Robert Saleh has created for this other half of the ball because you need to be right about Zach Wilson.
I just think that the Jets, I can't speak to Zach specifically, but we have to admit eventually the Jets are ruining quarterbacks. Sam Darnold's career, in my mind, was ruined at least for the next 3 to 4 years. Maybe he can turn it around playing the Patriots, seeing ghosts. Am I lying? Am I lying? He saw ghosts on national television, and he has not been the same quarterback since, and he wasn't statistically great beforehand. Geno Smith was drafted by the Jets in the 2nd round. Wrote him off, laughed him off, everything else. Now look at Geno Smith leading the NFL in completion percentage. Eventually, Jets, y'all have to stop treating your quarterbacks like this because you drafted him. You knew he didn't play at Alabama. You knew he didn't play at Ohio State.
Different coaches, different teams. I don't believe in that part. But if we're just talking about Zach Wilson, right? He's averaging 180 yards a game. He has 4 touchdowns and 5 picks. They're last in completion percentage. He's not playing well. He should be playing. At least with Justin Fields, I can see some type of talent. I can see some success. I can see it. Some production.
Let me ask you this.
No production with this guy, Zach Wilson.
You don't very much believe in Justin Fields. I do a little bit more. If Justin Fields was playing for this Jets team with the weapons that they have and the way that the Jets defense is playing, do you think he would be better than... You think he would have had a better performance than Zach Wilson did?
Yes. Yeah, he can run the ball. Yeah. So that ability, the defense.
So maybe it's not the Jets are ruining quarterbacks. Maybe they're just not drafting the right quarterback.
That's a word.
Yeah, number two pick.
Overall.
But that class was bad overall.
So far.
He's real bad.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.